can't tell with questions.
Well, this is always, I got to tell you, this is always a great day, first of all, because this is our best day for press to come out and get started and kind of find out what's going on. And it means it's time to start the season. Friday's our opener against University of Maine, which University of Miami's played many, many times for a long, long time. And we're excited about them. They've got an outstanding pitcher on Friday night, was drafted in the 11th round, starting against us. So we're going to see some really good pitching right out of the chute. And we got a very tough schedule. Of course, the following weekend's Florida at home, and the following weekend after that, we have Florida State on the road. So we have probably the toughest start of a schedule, I can say for sure, since I've been in Miami, but maybe ever, as far as just these opening few weekends. And then you jump into the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is last year was the number one conference in college baseball, and it is always one or two, and it's always at the end of the year their RPI is always that. So it's a very big challenge. I feel great about our club. We've been working really hard. We've got a great attitude. I think we really have a good combination of returning players, and our recruiting class is ranked the top 5 in the country. So you put that together, and the fact that the strength of our team is our starting pitching, and this game's about pitching. It's about pitching, and 80% of the game's pitching, they say, or whatever it is is a high percentage. So I feel good about that and getting it going and seeing what will happen. We haven't played outside competition, so that always changes how you guys are playing and kind of how they answer the bell there when it started. So I'm excited about seeing them play against outside guys instead of inter-squad games, and they are too.
You mentioned the recruiting class. Who are some of these newcomers, highly touted guys who you think can make an immediate impact, and how will you use those guys?
Well, I mean, right now, Zach Collins is going to start at third base and probably hit third on Friday night. So that tells you normally I put our top hitter at third, but he's really hit the ball well. He's learning a new position from switching from home to from catcher to first base, so he's making an adjustment there. He's still a catcher, but right now this year his primary position is first base. Johnny Ruiz will probably be at second base, and Johnny's from Westminster Christian, which is right here nearby, so we'll be starting. Willie Abreu is another kid who was drafted, a really good player. He's a big kid, swings the bat, so probably starting 3 freshmen opening day. And so it'll be interesting to see again how they react. But we got good pitching, so they've been facing good pitching, so they ought to be ready to face that and answer the questions.
You've been talking so much about this pitching staff. Just talk about how formidable it really is.
Well, I don't know if I had a better quality 4 guys together. Maybe a Cesar Carrillo you go that was 27 in a row. You got to talk about him, or Kevin Brown, was at Georgia Tech, so dominating. But these guys, you put them together, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be as good a rotation back to back to back to back as there is in college baseball, and we'll be challenged sometimes, no question. Like NC State's got the best pitcher and the best player in the conference, and he'll be pitched on Friday night. So Chris Diaz right now is our opening day guy. He started last year. Same rotation as last year, which is amazing. Same rotation, and that was pretty much our rotation last year.
This time of year you're always excited, not optimism, but does it change from year to year when you have a team like this where you feel maybe has got a lot of things working for him?
Well, I feel, of course, it's always exciting, but, as a coach, I know I say this, and I've said it many times, we've been lucky to have a lot of really good clubs here at Miami, but I feel, with the season opening, I feel that this club, if they keep working hard, which I know they are, and progress the way we hope they will, and they should, then we got a chance to go to Omaha. And that's all you want, to put yourself in a position with the talent and the players and your coaching staff and everything you're surrounded within the program to give you a chance to go to Omaha. If you get to Omaha, then anything can happen, and we've already seen that over the years from a lot of different programs. But this club's got a chance. I'm excited about that.
With Omaha, does it feel like it's been a while since you've been back?
It seems like a long time since I've been on a baseball field with a real game, to be honest with you. Kind of last year's season was a funny ending and really not a closure to the season for me. So it seems like a long time. It does seem like a long time since I've been to Omaha. We're very spoiled here at the university, and more than most programs. And the fact that if we don't go, then there's an issue, and you got to get better.
What's some of the biggest improvements you want to see of this year's team than from last year's team?
Hitting. Very simple thing. We couldn't score runs last year, which is tough. Every game goes to the 9th inning, and it's a 2-1 game or something like that, and it's just a very tough thing. You'd like to see guys put some offense. We got some bigger, stronger guys, and the balls are jumping off their back good. They're doing a great program conditioning-wise, our strength coach, so we got to score more runs to take the pressure off a Chris Diaz. And on Friday night, every time, if he knows that if he gives up one run, he may lose 1-0. That's a lot of pressure on the pitching, so we got to do that, and I think we will score more runs.
With scoring more runs, how important was it just to get the size of the guy, with the SAC crowd and really those bigger guys just into the program?
Yeah, well, they're amazing enough. They're average size for our recruiting class. Those guys. We got some guys that's bigger than him. Brad Zuniga that's 6'6", 250, and some of those guys. Derek Baypre is 6'6", maybe 240. I mean, we got some big guys. We could probably line them up with some of the football guys right now in their size. I don't know, maybe not that big, but close. Some of the defensive backs anyway. And but the real deal is, you need to be big, strong, and fast. So if you get that combination, then you got a chance to be a good player.
Malik Rozier has signed already with the football team, and I guess he's playing baseball also. I mean, is he somebody you're excited about?
Supposed to be a good player. We're talking a year away, so I'm thinking about Friday night. Somebody was talking about Sunday, and I said, be quiet. Just worry about Friday night, man. So I worry about Friday night when we get there, then whatever we got to do to win, and then we'll worry about Saturday. So I think we've got some good young players that are in our program right now, but that recruiting class is important.
Can you talk about the bullpen a little bit, too? Your closer, setup man, all that?
Right now it's Charlie Holstaff. He's going to be pitching. I don't know. We lost our closer, so I don't know. It can be A.J. Salcinas, and you lose your bullpen. But A.J. Salcinas is a guy that could be in there. 3 or 4 other guys could be in there, but he's the only guy that's really been in that role. But I think there's 3 or 4 guys that we're looking at could possibly be there late. So early it might be by committee on who closes to see who answers the question, and it might be a freshman. But we've had a freshman before that's been in there and been really good and been an All-American.
What kind of improvements do you see Suarez making this year, and do you see him making a jump to be in that mix with Diaz and Brian, the numbers they had last year?
Well, Suarez is our top prospect. So he's a kid that was hurt his senior year in high school. He ended up having surgery when he got here as a freshman. Last year he was pretty good. He was our number 3 guy, and now he's throwing 6-7 miles an hour harder. I mean, he's throwing low 90s consistently and topped out at 95, maybe 96 with a good breaking ball, and he throws strikes. So he's got a lot of potential. He's our number 3 guy right now, but I can see him moving up and challenging those 1-2 guys for their roles on Friday and Saturday night. So he's got a very high ceiling, and he's listed as our top prospect by professional baseball.
Coach, of the returning players, who has really impressed you in their improvements over the offseason?
Well, Suarez is a number 1 guy. He's made the biggest jump, without question. Even though he was good last year, but he's made the biggest jump there. Kennedy behind the plate's improved a lot. Dale Carey is kind of relaxed, so he's been playing very well. He put a lot of pressure on himself last year as a junior, and now he's gained about somewhere between 15 and 20 pounds. He stayed here this summer. He just lifted and ran and did not play this summer, and he's got a much better outlook as far mentally to be prepared to play the game. So probably those guys right there. For sure, David Thompson, I think, is healthy, almost. He's had 2 shoulder surgeries now. Last year, he was still really hampered through the season. He's getting close as far as being 100%, but he's playing good. And I think those guys are probably the guys I look at as the most improved guys.
With those 4 starters, just talk about how competition kind of breeds success, when they see each other, being out there doing a good thing. I'm sure they go out there and want to do a good thing as well.
Sure, I mean, they compete against each other every day. And I think that's the strength of our team. And the entire team is that we have guys on a lot of positions backing each other. It's the biggest roster we had since I've been at Miami to be able to that competition thing to help them get better. If they don't, somebody will be after you.
You mentioned adding Florida State as a non-conference opponent. How difficult does the schedule look just based on when you look at it on paper?
Well, I think it's got to be one of the toughest for sure ever in Miami, and just because of the conference we're in, and they talk about different sports, this and that, but the baseball is as good as any sport in the Atlantic Coast Conference for sure. Because every year the ACC's ranked 1, just about, and if it's a bad year, we're ranked 2 in toughness. So it's a great conference, and this just happens to be our bye year for Florida State. It was our time to go up there. I wish it was our time to come here, but we had made an agreement that if we do have a bye, that we'll always play. And whosever turn it is to play wherever, then we'll play that. So that's what we did.
In terms of margin for error with the RPI, does that allow you not to maybe lose more games, but because you're going to have probably the toughest strength of schedule in the country, to perhaps you always have a shot at the region no matter how you're playing?
Well, it's not necessary. You got to win with a tough schedule. You can't just throw out there a tough schedule and not win. You got to win with a tough schedule to be at the top, and it's really easier to win maybe and not have that tough schedule, but we're going to have that tough schedule. And then the other thing, every Wednesday game down here is tough too, because when we play the Wednesday games, it's teams that win in their conferences, whether it's FAU or Central Florida or the different schools. So it's not like we got easy W's on Wednesday. So you mix that in. If you play people that are good within their conference every game, then your APR is absolutely going to be very good.
I know you said that you're not looking too far ahead to Sunday, things like that, but just a step ahead. This weekend, does it make it more important to play well this weekend because of the Florida State coming up? Do you feel like you need to see more from a team this weekend to play well?
Well, I think we need to set the tone for the season this weekend. We need to set the tone Friday night for the series. We still need to set the tone for this weekend for the entire year for people to go, hey, the Canes are back, man. They're ready to go. And they had great pitching, and these guys pitching good, and they played good D. And, hey, they got some power. They're swinging the bat better, and I think people are going to see that. And that's the tone that we're going to have to set if we want to get back to where we want to go.
What sort of impact is the presence of some of the guys that have been in the majors or trying to get there for like the current team? Just seeing that legacy that they've established at UM.
Well, it's good because every day here there's pro guys working out, and I think that's good. And our guys can see how big and strong and how hard they work and how much they condition to try to get ready for the next year. And they're a good example for our guys from that standpoint. And they talk to our guys too. I'll see them out there talking, and I know they're talking baseball because I see them pointing at the base or something like that. They're not talking about where we're going that night. So I think that's a good thing, and I think that's positive to our players to be around players that are good and successful. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.